So, hi there everybody, great to be with you all again. Next stream is going to be on Tuesday, which is the 22nd of July at 10 AM UK time. I was wondering whether to, instead of vacillate, I was wavering between doing this and doing that. I was between two, no, I was thinking about it. So hi to all of you. Let's see, let's get this right. Hi to Don't Trust, hi to Julia, hi to Keyword, hi to Manisco, hi to Manu, hi to Maurits, hi to Nadia, hi to Oksana, hi to Renyard, hi to Victoria, and hi there to Vitali as well. Strong gale winds would spoil the sandwiches. Well, actually here it's raining, so that's a different question. So let's go straight to it. Hey ho. The woman who changed our view of chimps, chimpanzees, and human beings. Okay, this is about a woman called Jane Goodall. Hi Alex L, lovely to have you. In 1960, Jane Goodall began her groundbreaking field by living chimpanzees in Tanzania, and in 1986 she told the BBC how similar chimps and humans really are. Hi Firdavs. Field study, says Maurits. The weather, it's actually raining today. It's windy and raining. Among, says Maurits. So field study and among chimpanzees. Field research experiment, says Oksana. High white stripes. Field study, says Firdavs. Amongst, says Vitali. With chimpanzees, says Oksana. Field research with chimpanzees, says Renyard. Research, says Manu. Among, says Firdavs. Research amongst, says White Stripes. With, says Victoria. Amongst the chimpanzees. Living with chimpanzees. Living among. Research among, says Julia. Mission. Field mission. Yeah, field mission I guess could work. Alongside, you remember that from the other day. Today it's just among. Field research among. A field study living among the chimpanzees. Okay, so let's go for the next one. Among, says Nadia. Study and among, says Trust. Chimpanzees, yes. And, whoops. On 14 July 1960, a young English woman with no scientific background or qualifications stepped off a boat at the Gombe Stream Game Reserve in Tanzania to begin what would become a study of wild chimpanzees with no prior qualifications. Prior is a good word. No relevant qualifications. No experience. Doesn't work. Experience is a noun. With no proven scientific. Prior, says a protracted study, a groundbreaking study. With no relevant, groundbreaking from Vitali. Special qualifications, groundmaking. Breaking, says Oksana. A seminal study. Yeah, it was a seminal study as well. No formal scientific background. That's definitely an ice cream for Alex for formal. An eye-opening study. No serious scientific background. A groundbreaking study. A pioneering study. Hi Patricia. So, formal, no formal qualifications. Formal qualifications is no degree. And that's the idea. A comprehensive study, says Maurits. Okay, a pioneering study. to pioneer, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Her discoveries would not just revolutionize our understanding of animal behavior, but the way we define as human beings. Eventual study, formal and thorough study, says Patricia. Yeah, seminal study, not seminal fluid. Formal scientific study. It's a collocation. Formal qualifications. But shape the way we define ourselves, says White Stripes. But pave the way. Normally pave the way for. Okay, an eye-opening study in the previous one for Patricia, yes. I mean, seminal fluid comes out of the next study. But influence the way we define. But pave the way we define. It could work as pave, I guess, Vitali, yeah. Ah, so. But lead the way, change the way, definitely don't trust. Pave the way we define ourselves, says Patricia, but change the way we define ourselves as human beings. That looks pretty good to me, Renyard. Ourselves, but define ourselves, as Julia says. Ourselves, says don't trust. Pave the way. Ourselves, says Firdavs. Ourselves, says Nadia. Hi, Hogerd. Great to have you. But shift the way we define ourselves, says KB. But also, no, also doesn't work. But also the way. Oh, no, but it does. Yeah, it would revolutionize our understanding. Probably, and also the way. Yeah, the stuff that makes babies. We define yourselves. I don't. Okay. Her discoveries would not just revolutionize our understanding of animal behavior, but reshape the way we define ourselves. So ourselves, lots of ice creams, but someone said shape there. And shape was White Stripes. Half an ice cream for shapes, White Stripes. Alter the way, yes, Nadia, definitely. Facilitating the way of study for new generations. Yes, Manu. She was just 26 years old at the time. Jane Goodall had dreamt of studying and living with animals. She was just 26 years old at the time. Jane Goodall had dreamt of studying and living with animals. Though, that sounds fine, Maurits. When works, well done, Maurits. Well done, Maurits. That's very good. Although and always, says Oksana. Already, says White Stripes. Although and long, says Keyword. Reshape good, but if she was the pioneer. But at the time there was no shape. As, not quite. Although is good, Nadia. While. Yeah, it works, Manisco. Although, says Manu. Although, already. Revolutionize the way. Long dreamt. There's 3 of you with long dreamt now. So I'm going to give ice creams to Maurits, Keyword and Nadia for long dreamt. Although, yes, and ice creams for although as well. Ice cream for Patricia, ice cream for Victoria. It does, it's although. Although she was just 26 years old, Jane Goodall had long dreamt. Albeit She was it works as well, don't trust. Although and always, she had always dreamt. Okay, let's go for the next one. And here goes. From the time I was about 1.5 or 2, I used to study insects, anything, and this gradually and developed and grew. She had yearned to be. So, from the time I was about 1.5 or 2, right, with this comma. Actually, yes. It seems an easy. Interestingly, that's a better one, Oksana. Honestly, yeah. Right from the time with no comma. Nearly, not quite. Nevertheless, from the time. Not so keen on it, Manu. This gradually evolved and developed and grew. Well done, Vitali. Evolved is a good word. Gradually, from the time I used to study insects, anything, and this gradually morphed and developed and grew. Apparently is a good word, Victoria. I like it a lot. Interestingly, it evolved and developed and grew. Evidently, good word, Nadia. Surprisingly, it intensified. Good word as well, Victoria. In truth. Okay, gradually knowing and developed. Evolved, says Don't Trust. That's an ice cream for you, Don't Trust, but also ice cream for Vitali for evolved. And who was that with apparently? I think that apparently was Victoria, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So, ice cream for Victoria as well there. Ostensibly, that's a good word as well. Curiously. Evolved. Forsooth. Okay, so it gradually deepened. So, apparently, and evolved. Well done all of you. Gradually evolved. Then I read books like Dr. Dolittle and Tarzan. Then it had to be Africa that was my. She told the BBC's Terry Wogan on his in 1986. Yes, Victoria, well done. That comma changes it. Then I read books like Dr. Dolittle and Tarzan. Then it had to be Africa that was my. Astonishingly, yes, was my destiny, that was my home, his morning show. That was my destiny. I love the word destiny. Chat show, says Vitali. Ostensibly. No, it can't, because ostensibly it's saying it looked like no. It was my Avalon. I like Avalon from Mauritius. My dream. My morning show. Was my destiny. Was my departure. His televised show. Yes, his daily show. Was my destination. Was my calling. Good word. His talk show, says Nadia. Late night. His broadcasting show. His prominent show. So, I'm pretty sure Vitaly has nailed this one. His morning show. His famous shows. His talk show. So, Nadia got talk, and maybe others of you as well. So, well done, Nadia, with talk show. It was my goal. Okay, Africa, that was my goal, she told Terry Wogan on his chat show in 1986. However, radio show suits better for the BBC. Let's see. Terry Wogan initially was on the radio, but he then went on to the television. And I'm pretty sure this is on the radio. Yeah. His radio show. Okay, was her dream in a talk show. Finishing school, Goodall took a secretarial course while working as a waitress and as a film production assistant to her childhood ambition. After, says Maurits. My aim, my arrow. On finishing school. On, after. That's not bad, Vitaly. After, says Firdavs. My challenge. Upon, says keyword. To fulfill her ambition. After, says Manu. Upon, says Firdavs. To pursue her ambition, says Vitaly. To follow her ambition, says Maurits. After and to bolster her ambition. To bolster. Yes, I guess. After finishing school. For Oksana and Patricia. To fulfill, says Oksana. To pursue, says Victoria. To finance. That's the idea, Alex. To pursue, to finance her, to support, to nurture, to back. So I think finance is probably the closest, if I remember correctly. I might remember wrongly. So let's see. Firstly, ice creams for upon, for keyword, Firdabs, and there was one more who put upon as well. So upon, I'm certain, was the first one. To fund. There you go. Well done, Alex. White Stripes. To fund. Hi, Senda. To reach her ambition. Good to have you, Senda. To piggyback her ambition. To piggy bank. So, well done, White Stripes and Alex, for fund. And ice creams for upon as well. So good to have you, Senna, to promote her ambition. By 1957, she had finally enough money to travel to see a friend in Nairobi, Kenya. Yeah, if one person reads it wrongly, then everyone does, Maurits. It's very interesting, that. Saved, says Alex. Saved, says Nadia. Earned, says Firdav. Saved, says Julia. Collected, says Oksana. Finally saved, says Manu. Garnered, I like, from Maurits. Saved from Victoria. Saved from Vitaly. Okay, she had finally saved enough money. That's very good. She'd finally saved enough money to go. Saved for Reynard. Raised is good as well. Accumulated for Trout. Got. Well, welcome, Chaya. She had finally got. Yes, it works well, Chaya. Finally earned, says Patricia. Okay, so here we come. While there, she arranged to meet the wagged. I don't think so with wagged. Secured, says Chaya. Amassed, says White Stripes. While there, she arranged to meet the Kenyan British paleoanthropologist Professor Louis Leakey with the hope of talking to him about animals. Secured. The then, yes, the well-known, the preeminent, the noted, the famous, the so-called, the eminent, filled with hope, the hope of talking to him about animals. The then, you need some sort of adjective after the then famous, the then eminent, the then noted, the then preeminent, filled with the hope of talking to him about animals. Renowned, good word, Patricia. The famous, says Julia. Famous, says Victoria. Prominent, says Renyard. Okay, so let's go for it. Distinguished, says Vitali. Filled with. Originally with. Originally is good. Filled with. I like renowned. I like filled. And notice, renowned is the right answer. So, renowned. Ice cream for Patricia, very definitely. Any ice cream you want. Merely, solely, just. She just wanted to talk to Leakey about animals, brimming with the hope that, brimming with the hope of talking to him. Merely, only with the hope. Only is slight different because that means her only hope, whereas merely is nothing more than, nothing more than the hope of talking to him about animals. Leakey, whose secretary, yay, Patricia, well done. Leakey, whose secretary had recently left, was so impressed by Goodall's quiet determination and knowledge of African wildlife that he offered her a job as his assistant at the Natural History Museum. So what would I say? I think I would remind you that she had no formal qualifications and vast breadth of knowledge, unctuous depth of knowledge. Merely, no wish too much, in-depth knowledge. So how did she acquire this knowledge? That's 2 and 3. State of the art, her wide-reaching knowledge. That's good, Alex. Her vast array of knowledge is good, Maurich. Off the cusp. Vast non-formal. I like the word vast. Vast in-depth knowledge. And impressed with her knowledge. That's very easy. Self-learned. Self-learned. That's really, really good, White Stripes. Wide-ranging first-hand knowledge. That's really great as well. True and test. I like wide-ranging first-hand knowledge. True and tested. Book-born. Self-taught, says Vitali. Very good. Hi, Victor. Lovely to see you. Her first-hand knowledge. Her extensive self-taught knowledge. Well done, Vitali. Yeah, okay, and her extensive her in-depth. That was really very hard. And he offered her a job. Self-taught, well done, Vitali. Self-acquired, yes. Her extensive self-taught knowledge. Leaky would then become Goodall's well done, White Stripes. Mentor advisor. Her intuitive self-taught knowledge is good. Mentor. Well done, Alex. That was very good. White Stripes just got straight in there. Ice cream for White Stripes immediately. Leaky would then become her mentor. Yeah, it's her mentor. This is the modern word for it. Her husband. Unfortunately, no, they didn't marry. Goodall's mentor. Inspiration. That's it, Manu. A mentor. Yes, a mentor is the person who teaches you things, who helps you improve, who is behind your learning, is supporting you. Okay. It was he who said, well, I'm looking for someone to go and study chimpanzees because of their behavior, their behavior may on understanding early human behavior, she told Wogan. His protege, yes. She would then become his protege. Guru. Yeah, guru's a good word as well. I'm looking for someone to go and study chimpanzees because of their behavior may on understanding early human behavior. Mentor, a shoulder to cry on. I suppose so. Impact on understanding may the fact that their behavior shed light, the influence their behavior may have, impact on. You got too many words, White Stripes. You got one word too many. May have. The fact their behavior may impact on. Similarly, says Theodabs. Reflect on. So White Stripes, you've got the answer, but you've gone once. That's it, Nadia. Because of the light their behavior may shed on understanding early human behavior. Ice creams for White Stripes and Nadia. Because of the light their behavior may shed on understanding early human behavior, she told Wogan. So to shed light on. influence of their behaviour may have on understanding. Close, Manu. Lol. Okay. Fact, says Renya. Leakey viewed her lack of an academic science as an advantage rather than a believing her observations wouldn't be by pre-existing scientific theories. More. Because if the light their behaviour may shed on understanding, yes, because of the light it may shed. More as an advantage, yes. As a hindrance, says Vitali, a lack of an academic science degree, more than a drawback. It would be scientific knowledge, Victoria. Science experience, background, an academic science background, rather than a setback. A setback is you're making progress and then something goes wrong. Wouldn't be unduly coloured. Very good, White Stripes. More as an advantage rather than a hindrance. Good, Maldites. Lack of an academic science background. Good, Firdavs. Rather than a drawback. Good, Alex. Wouldn't be unfairly biased. Well done, White Stripes. An academic science background is a good word, Patricia. Setback, no. Drawback, yes. Background, says Julia. Drawback, says Patricia. Good. Held back. Wouldn't be held back by pre-existing. Withdraw. Held back, so negatively coloured. Significantly marred. Pros and cons, no. Background rather than a fault. Rather than, I think that drawback put down by adversely affected. Okay. So, science background as an advantage rather than a hindrance. She wouldn't be hemmed in, surrounded, restricted. Rather than a flaw. Flaw is a good word. Adversely affected. Hemmed in, sealed in, and not able to look beyond what wouldn't be clouded by. That's a wonderful word, Victoria. Held back by, for trust. Coloured by. I love that, coloured by. It wouldn't be hemmed in. It wouldn't be sealed into the academic expectations of the time. Okay. Fenced in is a great word, Vitali. It needed, yes, with that in, a hint, with that in. Penned in. Whoops, Gombe, sorry. Let's try this one again. Goodall would not be alone on her trip to the Gombe Reserve. To the colonial safety regulations of the time, her mother, Vane, came along as a, rather than a barrier, good Manu. To actively safeguard and companion. To comply with, that's great, Vitali. To conform to, says Alex. To comply with, says Maurits. To comply with, says Oksana. To remain adamant. Doesn't work, Julia. Okay, so I'm very happy. Well done, Alex, as a chaperone. To abide by is very good. Alex gets the ice cream for chaperone, and I'll give one to Oksana as well. To abide by, to comply with the rules. To comply with the rules. Her mother, Vane, came as a chaperone. Okay, because this is the 1960s, and they were much more straight-laced in the third world at that time. To ensure, as a chaperone, to adhere to, comply with. Well done, Patricia. Chaperone definitely deserves an ice cream. Yes, I quite agree, keyword. Her companion, says Nadia. So, let's continue. Chaperone. Asa. Okay. Initially, I wasn't to be on my... She told the BBC. Well done, Alex. It's a very good answer. Chaperone, someone who comes to look after or supervise. So initially I wasn't to be on my... This one's easy. I wasn't supposed to be on my own. Very good, Oksana. Straight-laced, to follow moral rules strictly. Very good, Maurits. I wasn't suspected. Medications. Intended. Allowed, says Nadia. Supported on my own. I wasn't meant to be... Well done, White Stripes. On my own trip. On my own, says Nadia. Good. I wasn't minded. Okay, minded, yes. To be minded to do something. It works, it's a different meaning. I wasn't supposed to be on my own, says Renya. I wasn't meant. I wasn't supposed to be on my... I wasn't... Okay, allowed to be on my own. Yeah, initially I wasn't allowed to be on my own. Goodall told the BBC. Ah, yes. The British government, as it then was, said, no, this is absolutely almost immoral for a young girl to go out into the wild. Wild is a good one. Wild, says Oksana. The savannah. Good one as well, but no. I think the Australians use this word a lot. So, and spot the oxymoron. Into the elements, that's the weather, said Oksana. The jungle, says Vitali. The wild, says Firdabs. Synonym. The Amazonas. Into the wild. Into the wilderness. Into the wild. Into the bush. Well done, Vitali. Into the bush. Chastity belt. Okay, spot the oxymoron. It's not good English as well. Into the bush. Into the bush. Into the bush. But spot the oxymoron. Berserk. Forest. Out into the unknown. Yes. To the forest. But spot the oxymoron. Absolutely almost. Well done, Alex. It's either absolute or almost. Well done. Because either something is exact or almost. It can't be absolutely almost. It just doesn't work. Okay, so absolutely cannot have a grading qualifier. Very good, White Stripes. Amazonas, no, it's not only in Brazil, it's in Peru, and it's also in Ecuador and Brazil. Yeah, because I've been to Amazonas, but only in Peru. The British government, yeah, it said that it's absolutely immoral for a young girl to go out into the bush. Absolutely don't fit to almost. Absolutely immoral or almost immoral. Venezuela, Bolivia. Bolivia, yes. Venezuela, no. It's too far north. So I, too, and my mother came with me for 3 months. A companion. I demanded to have, had to have a companion. Well done. Practically quite immoral. Had to be with. Good, Nadia. Had to bring, Victoria, yes. I wanted to find. That's good, Vitali. I had to find, says Renya. Had to choose. Good keyword. They vouchsafed my mother as a chaperone. I wish to be. I wish to have. So I had to take. I wanted to find. I had to have. I had to choose. That's KB, isn't it? I had to choose. Ice cream for KB there. I had to choose a companion. I was supposed to be with. The first 6 months, the first months proved to be for both Goodall and her mother, who were staying together in an ex-army camping tent, developing malaria. I was supposed to be with a chaperone. Yes, don't trust. The first months proved to be particularly challenging, extremely hard. Good keyword. Good, Oksana. The toughest for both Goodall and her mother. Half an ice cream, Maurits. To be a challenge. Tough. Good. So you need a tough challenge. Good, Victoria. A challenge, Julia. Big challenge. Tough. I'm not sure if it's tough. Might be another word, but I think it was tough. Rather grueling is a good word. Quite hard. Extremely exhausting. Tough is not. I think tough is number one. If it's not tough, it's hard. But I'm pretty sure it's tough, number one. What's number two to make a collocation? Beginning. Arduous task. To be an arduous task, Victoria. Very formidable bond. Not sure. Hard work. Well done, Vitali. Hard going. Tough going. Well done, Vitali. Tough going. An arduous challenge. Tough going. If something's tough going, it's difficult to do. It was tough going. A thorny way. That's the idea, Firdavs. The first months proved to be tough going for both Goodall and her mother. Incredibly taxing. Good, Patricia. Even when Goodall was well enough to into the reserve. Whoops. Huh. Yeah, well done, V. Incredibly taxing, tough going. I've got a problem here. Ah, that'll do it. To venture into the reserve. Well done, tough going. So to venture into the reserve, the chimpanzees would simply vanish into the jungle. Venture into from Julia, the jungle from Oksana. To tap into the reserve. But this is a game reserve. Enter into the reserve. Into the vegetation. Good. The woods. Difficult times. Yes, Serdar. Difficult times. Tough going. Into thin air is a great collocation, Julia. Into the woods. Venture into. Venture into is a really good word. Prepare. No, Victoria. Venture into the woods from Manu. Venture from Maurits as well. Vanish into the ether. Embark. Okay. Vanish into the undergrowth. Into the bush. Into the undergrowth. Into the jungle. So venture. Ice creams for those of you with venture. Okay, into the undergrowth. And that's the end for today. So let's see. Next stream will be on Tuesday, 22nd of July at 10 a.m. UK time. To the shrubbery, I love it. Okay, so thank you all for coming. Thank you to Alex, thank you to Chaya, thank you to Don't Trust, thank you to Firdav, thank you to Julia, thank you to Keyword, thank you to Manu, thank you to Maurits, thank you to Maurits and Nadia, thank you to Oksana and Patricia, thank you to Renyard and Serdar, thank you to Victoria, thank you to Vitali, and thank you to White Stripes. Thank you all. It's been great having you all again. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Manisco. Thank you, Maurits. Thank you, White Stripes. I'm strongly thinking about doing it. Guess the word from the meaning. It could be quite challenging. Thank you all. Have a great weekend, all of you, and I hope to see you all on Tuesday. So take care all of you. It was fun. Thank you, Keyword. Have a great weekend yourself. I never got a mosquito bite, she said finally.